We're live.
Now we're live. My bad, everybody. I have really screwed up bad here this morning or this afternoon with Keeping It Rio, but we're 2 minutes late. This is Chuck. You got Shoop Dog.
We'll give you a pass since you're out of town on this one.
We got Eric. And we've got our special guest, Mr. Clint Koppel, owner of ASAP Roofing and Rio Blanco. How's everybody doing today? Welcome to Keeping It Rio. Sorry for that little technical glitch. I was showing off all these sound effects and everything, and then I realized I was on the wrong channel. So we're good. We're good. It's Keeping It Rio, 6:02 p.m. on July 29th. And we're going to do our regular deal. We're going to have our branch managers from all the branches. I don't see Jeremy yet, but I messed everything up. So he'll show up in a minute. We got Eric Schugel. We got Shoop Dog. We got Jeremy coming up. I'm going to start today with Eric. Eric, how are you doing, my friend? How's everything going over in Tyler, Texas?
Good. It was a good day for both our guys. Matt had 2 adjusters meetings set up this week. He's got one for Monday. He set up today, and then Colin had one pass today, a big house. So, and that's
outstanding.
Marshall.
We love Marshall. He's the man. Sounds like he's having a good time over there.
Not when he gets left alone.
Well, you should bring him on. We love Marshall. He's our dude. Every time he's
on
on camera, we get high ratings. I'm going to go ahead and bring in our next guest, ladies and gentlemen. We've got Jeremy over there in San Antonio. Sorry about what I did there. I totally screwed that one up. My bad. But we're going through the wins. We're going through everything. Eric was talking about his wins. And Eric, who do you want to shout out from your Tyler location?
Oh, I'm going to shout out somebody different. I'm going to shout out Brett for helping me out coming over to Hemp Hill on Tuesday with me.
That is Brett Newton, the legendary Brett Newton. He's willing to do anything for anybody, and we love Brett for that. I hope he's watching or hears it. Lord knows he's probably at somebody's office, or he might even be at Clint's house right now for all we know. So thank you, Brett. You're the man. Shoop, what's going on? How you doing today?
We're doing amazing over here. We actually have our first contract for Frank. So big whoops out there to Frank for getting his first contract out there in Hearn. He's transitioned from kind of a runner / crew guy to roofing salesman, and hasn't been with us for very long and already has established himself pretty well.
Yeah, Frank's the man. He runs our cruise for us, basically does everything, and I'm happy that he got his first deal. I see Shoop over there preaching to the sponsorship gods once again. We're trying to get Bang Energy to sponsor us. I do have some great news. I was trying to get sponsors for this week, and I failed miserably. Oh, no, JoJo says his link isn't working. I don't know what to do at this point. I'm kind of confused. I'm going to have to wait. Yeah, we'll have to do the... Sorry, JoJo, my bad. But, yeah, I'll try to figure that out here in a second. Eric, you're going to get charged by David Lucian the next time you use his ladder. I'm sure you probably did some damage to it or probably didn't return it or something like that. David's appearing to be pretty upset, so just letting you know, bud. You don't want David Lucian looking for you. I do have another special guest that we're going to be bringing on to the program here in just a moment. Before we do, I want to go over to Jeremy in San Antonio and say, Jeremy, what's up? How you doing?
Doing good, man. How you doing, Chuck?
I'm pretty good. I'm having a great afternoon here in Ohio. As you could see, we're Buckeyes strong.
There it is.
Jeremy still got his picture over to the right there of his hero, the great Chuck Allen, with some other guy. I think that guy's name's Grant Gardone or something like that. I don't know. Definitely not the star of the program. What's going on down there today? What's going down this week? How's everything going in San Antonio?
Man, everything's going good. We had a pretty full week. Shout out to the crew, man. They finished a little bit early, got to go home a day early, and man, they killed it. Very impressed with our crew, man. Shout out to them for sure. They're really killing it for us out here, making us look good and making us look like stars. And gotta love them, man. They work hard. So huge shout out to our crew.
Absolutely. Raquel Diaz, thank you for all that you do. Oscar, everybody on our crews, we love you guys. You do make us look good, and we appreciate that. So. What's going on down there? Anything noteworthy this week? Any big jobs? Any big commercial deals?
I mean, we do. We definitely got a lot of commercial inspections going on tomorrow. I think we've got about 2 or 3. So kind of like Eric said, man, I want to get in and give my shout out is going to be to Brett too. That guy continues to. I mean, that guy puts in more miles than I don't even know who. He's just, down to help everybody. He'll be here down tomorrow, and we're gonna probably look at 3 commercial inspections and knock out a quick repair and keep him busy.
Outstanding. I love that. He's the team MVP. He got the award at the Christmas party. He's probably gonna get we're gonna name a statue or something. It's gonna be the Brett Newton Memorial Trophy.
And he's teaching a guy to do repairs so he can kind of, help Brett out. And so our new guy is actually doing a repair right now for Brett. So kind of relieving Brett a little bit, which is awesome. And I love that, man. Brett's just getting, pulled apart from different places. And I call him Stretch Armstrong sometimes, but we're trying to get him that help. So we got a couple of guys that Brett's training.
Definitely. I love it. So we're going to roll over here. We got Mr. Clint Koppel. I know he's had a huge week. Clint, tell us a little bit about what's gone on for you this week. Now you got to spend some time with the family. That's always cool. So what'd you guys do?
Yeah. We went to a little island off of Mexico. It's right off of Cancun, about 18 minutes off Cancun, a little island called Isla Mujeres. And I ended up taking my family, something me and my wife said we've been planning to do for years, and we said let's do it. So we took our kids for the first time, and we took both our moms, my mom and my wife's mom, and we're glad we did that and got it out of the way, and we had a great time. The kids had a blast. It was the first time for them to go out of the country. We have 4 kids, and just went out to the beach, hung out, had a good time, got famous. That's about it.
Got famous? What are you talking about? Something happened.
You know what I'm talking about.
Something happened that we're gonna have to feature here quickly.
All right,
Rio.
I'll tell you the story. So we're hanging out on the beach. I got my kids and our mothers and my wife Leanne. She's sitting there, and they're talking about this guy. He has like green hair and he's wearing pink shorts and he's dancing around like crazy. And I look at my wife and say, "Hey, let's go up behind him and dance him and imitate him." And my wife said, "No, I don't want to do that." So I said, "Well, I'm gonna do it." So went over and started dancing behind this guy. I didn't know he has like over 30 million followers. He's like a big TikTok guy and like a song artist over in Colombia. And so anyways, long story short, had a video in the past like 3 days, over 2 million people have watched of me imitating him on TikTok. So yeah, it's just funny.
We're about to have 2,015,000, Clint, because I feel like we'd be doing everybody in the world a disservice if we didn't show this. So without further ado, let me show you the guy in the pink shorts. And the dude standing behind him is the one and only Mr. Koppel. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is how you go viral. Sorry about that.
I'm definitely not the best dancer in the world.
It's pretty good.
But I can still get the ratings.
There you go. We needed that. Yeah. That was awesome. Yeah. I appreciate that. And for that, you, my friend, get the shout out of the week from me. I haven't been in the office, but even if I was and everybody there had like cured every disease known to man, you were getting my shout out this week for that. So that is absolutely tremendous. I am very proud to say that you're my friend. That was awesome.
Yeah, you just got to have fun, you just got to do it sometimes. So
anyway, you guys hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Can you hear us?
I got to turn something down here real quick, I think. I hear something crazy going on in the background. I'm going to shut this Facebook down. There we go. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. Little technical difficulties. Everybody hear me good?
Yes.
Okay, so cool. We have a very special guest that we're bringing on this week. Someone that does a tremendous job with ASAP and Rio Blanco and all the people. Does a great job with, training future leaders and so on. And I would like to bring this gentleman on right now. Please, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Keepin It Rio, our great friend, Mr. Chase Wofford. Chase, what's up? How you doing today?
Hey, this is Chase, not me.
I know. That's the guy I was trying to talk to. He's the one that goes around and teaches everybody how to be cool. He's done a good job. He's taught you how to be cool. So How's
He's
everything
not
going
even-
tonight?
He's not even 2 years old, but I started saying yes, sir, to him last week because he has that kind of attitude.
I
But
can
yeah, man, I'm doing
appreciate
pretty
it.
good today. It's been a nice day. You know, I'm a year older via a couple days ago, so I'm getting close to 30. I'm not exactly happy about it. It's a little too close to comfort, but you got to give what you're given, right?
Oh, dude, 30's cool. I wish I was 30. Believe me, 30's great. So, Chase, thank you for coming on here tonight on Keeping It Rio. I wanted to bring you on for a couple different reasons. Number one, this past week you did some work with our guys, and I wanted to just kind of get your feel for how everything went with the Tyler office, what you thought about the Rio Blanco guys, and just a little bit of your experience. And also, I want to kind of start and ask you a little bit about how you got to where you're at in life at this point. But let's start with this past week. How'd everything go for you? What kind of experience did you have with our guys?
Yeah, man. I mean, I think it went well, but I think a lot of things go well. So ultimately, it's going to be the results that tell us if it went well or not. But this kind of stuff we talked about it's kind of just basic stuff that we don't really think about. Like, for example, we have a result, right? The result, we have to take certain actions to get that result. But a lot of times we don't take time to think about the proper actions to get the result we want. We're just going through life doing something. And so that's kind of what we talked about, a little bit of mindset training for the first part. It was a 2-part system. The last thing I wanted to do was to get somebody all pumped up and riled up and, all right, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to be successful. I want to make $1 million. But how do you do that? Right. And so that's how the second part went. The second part was how to apply it practically to our industry, how to overcome these objections, what to say to the homeowners, how to get on roofs, things like that. And so I think it went well. Eric thinks it went well as well, but ultimately it's going to be the results that tell us if it went well or not,
Yeah, without a doubt. I think it's really great. And I appreciate you going over there and doing that. That is above and beyond your call of duty, as far as I know. I mean, it means the world to me because the guys definitely they learn a lot when you talk and they listen, and what you say carries a lot of weight. So I appreciate that. That kind of brings me to the whole story about Chase. And I'm going to ask any of the other guys, if you guys want to stay, you're more than welcome. If anybody wants to bounce, you're welcome as well. If anybody has any questions for Chase, now would be a great opportunity to get those answered. Anybody? Eric, Shoop, Jeremy, Clint, Jay.
I got you. First, let me start off by saying you guys need to go rent a kid because we've got all these kids in the video right now.
Trust
so
me, I
before
thought
you go
about
any
it.
further, that might be something you want to look into, or maybe create an app where called Rent a Kid, where you get a kid, put them in a video. It seems to.
I got
do
one
good.
running around right now and one in the oven right now, so I don't have to rent any kids.
Shoop's looking to rent them out to me. So that's a plan that I had a long time ago. Believe me, renting a kid is on my itinerary.
Chuck, I actually got that from you in our last conversation. I had to steal it from you.
I'm glad you didn't go any further.
So I've got a quick question for Chase. Like one thing I've noticed, and I want to get Chase's input because I've seen you grow a lot in the last few years, and I look up to each and every one of you guys for many different reasons. And what I've noticed is it doesn't matter how hard you work or what you do, the effort you put in, the people you care about, your feelings, the integrity you have. There's always people that always have something negative to say. Always, right? Like, and there's 2 types of people. There's the people that really genuinely do care, and they think, well, you're making the wrong choices, and they want to try to consult you or consult others around you that you hear through the grapevine about how you're not doing the right thing. And then there's the other type of person that just genuinely doesn't want to see you succeed because, let's face it, when you succeed and they're not, it reminds them of what they're not doing. So my question is, have you had to run into that? And if you've ran into that, what do you do to remind yourself you're doing the right thing? And how do you face that and deal with that challenge that we deal with every day as leaders?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that I've had to battle with, especially in my earlier stages when I wasn't quite the person I am now. I would get a little envious of other people's success. I'm a really competitive person, and And that can play really well if you use it the right way. A lot of people use that competitive factor and they'll do it like this person's doing X amount. So he's doing more than me. So I want him to lower the amount that he's doing, right? But that's not the way it's supposed to be. You should want to raise your level to beat them. You should never want to win at somebody else's expense. I want to beat people when they're at their best, right? And so a lot of people, especially me in the beginning, I would want other people to do less so that I didn't have to do more and I could still win. But that's a piss poor way of living life, you know? So I had to change that because I'm to a point now where I want to beat people when they're at their very best. And if they're not at their very best, then I win. I don't consider it a win. The second thing is I really want to see everybody else win as well. I've had quite a few wins in my career at ASAP, and that's good and all, like that's great. But, you know, there's a saying that I like, and it's not fun being at the top if you don't have anybody to share it with, you know? So I don't want to be at the top by myself. I want to help other people get there as well. They say it's lonely at the top, so I want to make sure there's other people there to keep me company. Nobody wants to be the only person, you know, to win and turn around and there's nobody there to help you or to give you a handshake or to pat you on your back, you know? You got to have a team. And so I had to shift my mentality from an individual success, like I want me and me only to win, to now it's to a point where I want to win, and the only way I can do that is to help my team win because they are me and vice versa, right? And so I've had to just kind of re-aim my satellite a little bit and focus on the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is it's fun at the top, but only if you have people to share it with, you know?
I love that. That's basically that describes our company 100%. That's why Chase is in the position he's in, and that's why he's given the responsibilities he's been given, because that right there was fire, man. I think my screen was about to melt. So that kind of starts off the deal. This is what Chase is all about. He is a super motivational guy that has tactical information to help you succeed. Chase, why don't you give us a little background on yourself? Like, you know, I know you've been with the company for a few years now, and I've seen you really develop since I've been here into like the strongest leader that we have. You know, where did that all come from? What was your background? What got you to where you're at right now? And kind of explain what your position with ASAP is and how you travel around and develop all these leaders.
Yeah, man. Well, first off, I don't think I'm the strongest leader we have. I will be one day for sure. That's kind of that competitive thing, right? So I appreciate that. But I guess I'll go ahead and I'll start with, you know, what I did before this and kind of how I got into this. I had a really beneficial job before I came to this company and in the roofing industry in general. And that was that I was in the service industry. And I think that the service industry teaches you a lot. Anybody who's been in the service industry knows that it will teach you, one, hard work. It's an extremely hard job. You have to deal with crap from people and you just have to take it with a smile. Like they'll sit there and say the most insulting things to you and you can't say anything back. And so you kind of learn to take a punch. And in this industry, you know, whenever you're getting told no at the door or all the objections we get, you're getting kind of punched in the face. And so I think that helped me a lot with getting a steel chin, if you will, to where I can take a punch and, you know, not necessarily get knocked back down for too long. You know, I can always find a way to get back up. And the service industry is what did that. The second thing the service industry taught me is how to speak to people. You know, like before I started getting in the service industry, I would kind of steer away from conversations because I didn't want to talk to many people. But if you want to be a great server, you have to talk to people. That's how you get bigger tips. So I learned that if I want to make more money, I have to speak to more people and I have to make more of an impact on their experience, because that's what people want when they're going out to a restaurant, right? They want an experience. So I had to give them one. And I think that those two things right there help make me who I am today, along with an organization that really believes in you and pushes you. Whenever I get pushed, that's usually when I respond, just because I like pressure. A lot of people don't, but I kind of like it. And so, you know, I think that was a big part as to why I'm here right now. Then I came into the industry, started working at ASAP, got into sales. I did fairly well at sales. then got into management, then I got into general management, and now I'm the CSO of ASAP at the executive level. So, I mean, the opportunity has been there. And I think that's a huge motivating factor for me, is having a next step, finishing that race, if you will. And so if it wasn't for the service industry, I probably wouldn't have the grit to get through those next levels, So I think that's a big part as to why I am where I am right now, honestly.
And I can't agree with you more on that. I worked at a White Castle restaurant from the time I was 15 till 19. And, I can diffuse just about any situation that we ever deal with a homeowner, because I've seen like 5 million times worse from people at White Castle. I think every human being on the planet should have to serve that crap at least once in their life so that they deal with it. And it really, it toughens you up a lot. I mean, I've been called some names and had stuff thrown at me and all kind of crazy stuff. But I agree. I think the service industry, and I know Jeremy would agree with that as well with his background, and Eric and Shoop, heck, all of us, we've all been there. And Clint, I mean, I remember Clint telling a story about when he was driving the water truck that one time and he was shooting water on that lady. You got to be good to maintain your job after you do something like that. So Clint's the man. But yeah, I think service industry is exactly, it's what we are now. We're just on a different type of level for it. But when you took the job as CSO, what responsibilities were put on to your plate that you already had? I know you were managing multiple locations and, overseeing several different management people with the company. You took on the responsibility of the entire organization, basically. And, with those responsibilities, I'm sure came some, a lot of different things that you have to take into account and factor. So what is your new job really all about? And kind of explain what the CSO does. We know what you do, but everybody else needs to know.
Yeah. I mean, what I do is I go to each of the branches at ASAP, and to sum it up, I help them get what they want, and I think that's what any great leader does. And that's why I wanted to take this position to challenge myself. A lot of people think that leadership, for example, they think that leadership is how great they can be. Like, oh, you're a great salesman, which makes you a great leader. No, that makes you a great salesman, right? What makes you a great leader is if you're able to help other people get what they want. That's what a great leader is. And ultimately, that's kind of what my job entails now. I go to each branch and I basically help them. They don't really need a lot of help. We have some really elite branch managers, but I help them as much as I can get what they want. It's not about me anymore. It's not about my individual things. It's about the company in general. And the fact is, I can't get what I want unless I can help them get what they want. Because when they're happy, they produce better. When they produce better, the numbers are better, which looks better on me and helps me get to my next level. So ultimately, that's what I do. I go to each branch and pretty much help them get what they want. They don't need a lot of help because they are elite, but everybody needs help every once in a while.
Yeah, definitely. So Tyler, let's just take Tyler for example. You're at Rio Blanco the other day. What kind of goals were these guys setting? And what kind of templates do you put together to kind of help illustrate that path and show them the way that they need to go to make it happen?
Mm-hmm. The truth is, whenever I go to these offices, I always ask what they want. Most people say they want to make a lot of money or they want to get into management, whatever that is. And that's great. But I can't help you get what you want until I know what you want, right? And so I figure out what they want, and then we figure out kind of like a planned step of how to get there, right? The first part is the mindset. That's always important, right? You can sit here and you can tell somebody, hey, you have to do this, and they're not going to do it because they don't understand why, right? So you have to make sure they understand why first. And so the first thing we do is the mindset things, why we have to think like this, why we do what we do. And so the second part is how to actually make it happen. And so that's what we do, but I can't figure out how to get everybody what they want until I know what it is they want in the first place. So that's always where we start. What goals do you have? Where do you want to go? What do you want to gain from this 2 or 3 hours that we have together? And then I work off of that. But I try not to make every situation the same, because as humans, we're all different. That's what makes us great. And so every situation is a little different. Every training is a little different. But for the most part, it's all the same and different at the same time, if that makes sense. You have to tailor it for everybody's specific needs, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. So you basically spend a lot of time getting to know all the people in the entire organization and understanding, what's your why and all the stuff that we go through. And then, do you guys do any kind of exercises to, put that stuff to visualize, to speak it into existence, or, whatever we like to coin that? I always say speak it into existence, but what do you guys do to, kick that action into gear and get people actually moving towards their goals?
Yeah, a big thing we do at ASAP, and I know at Rio as well, is we do vision boards. You have something you want, but the truth is, whenever you go to bed at night and you wake up the next day, we tend to forget a lot of what we thought the day before. And then same thing happens the next day and the next day. So we tend to make vision boards at ASAP. A lot of people think that it's kind of childish. And in some ways, maybe it is, but I'll much rather be childish and successful than not childish and unsuccessful, right? And so the vision boards give you something you can physically see. Whenever we see something, we believe it. Like if I were to say right now, look, the sky's red, you're not going to believe it. You're going to be like, no, it's not. But if you were to go outside and you were to see that the sky is red, you're like, wow, I guess the sky really is red. Now you believe it because you saw it with your own eyes. And so whenever you make like a vision board, for example, and you see it with your own eyes, that has a lot more pull than just a hypothetical thing in your brain, because now it's real life. It's not a hypothetical anymore. It's a real thing you can actually see. So now those goals and those visions, those have weight, and you can hold yourself accountable to it. And then you show somebody your vision board, or you tell somebody what goals you have or what you're going to do. And now they can hold you accountable to achieve those things as well. So it's a multi-tier system, but the first thing you have to do is you have to make sure you can see it with your own eyes, and vision boards are a great activity for you to be able to do that.
I agree. I've got vision boards all over the place, and anybody that thinks they're childish is crazy. I mean, the only part of it that I had that was childish was I did eat some of the paste while I was doing it, but that's a different story for a different day. So when you're out there, I mean, you're getting to deal with people at the very entry level of the company that are just getting into sales for the first time ever, all the way up to people that are, multi-100,000, $1,000,000 producers. How do you custom tailor? Like, let's say you've got a group with, 5 people and everyone's at a different level. You're going in for 3 hours. How do you maximize the time and make sure that everybody gets the maximum benefit of your experience, through a process like that? Because all of our offices have a very mixed level of experience right now, I think, across the entire company. So how do you tie all those things together and make it apply for everyone that you're talking to?
I think a good thing you can do is you can save the specific stuff for one-on-ones. And then while you're in a group setting, you can touch on things that everybody can apply. Mostly everybody wants to make like a lot of money. I don't think I know anybody who doesn't want to make more money. Most everybody wants to be successful. I don't know anybody who doesn't want to be successful. Most everybody has at least close to the same goals and same visions. And so you can work on that. And then on the one-on-one sessions, that's when you can kind of fine detail everything and go into the extreme details of every situation. But what I try and do is I try and figure out what they want. And then usually what they want is to make more money and be more successful and move up in the company and provide for their family. Those are the things most people want. And so you can work with that. And I think that one of the things that I really like to hit on is the patience thing. The thing that people don't understand is that they come in and they want to be successful. They want to make a lot of money, and they think it's just going to happen instantly. And I think everybody on this screen knows that's not the case. You can sign a really big deal. It's, $500,000 and get a really nice paycheck quickly. But if you want to see real success, it takes time, it takes development, it takes work. And those things, and those things you got to be patient about, right? And so patience is a huge factor on getting these people what they want and helping them be successful and make a lot of money. There's a saying as well that I like. I think I heard it from Gary Vee. He says, the person who holds their breath the longest wins. And I think that's extremely accurate, especially in this industry and in life in general. The longer you can hold your breath and just grind, keep your head down and push and push and push. The longer you can do that, you're going to win if you do it long enough. It's just statistics, you know. You do something long enough, you're going to get what you want. And so that's what we try and do. We try and make it to where we can kind of tailor it to everybody, because for the most part, everybody tends to have the same goals. And then on one-on-one sessions, you can kind of make it specific to each person at that point.
I love that. That's absolutely wonderful. I mean, and that goes from, you know, everybody in the entire cup. Look at Chase. He's trying to get us a Bang Energy sponsorship too. I respect that a lot.
Dude, as many of these as we drink, like, they need to give us something. Like,
I agree. I think I lost 30 pounds just by having accelerated heart rate from drinking so many of those things. I mean, I risked my life for Bang. I think they should at least give us a couple dollars and say thank you. But, you know, that'll come sooner or later. So I really appreciate everybody being here. Jeremy Shoup, now's a great opportunity. You got Chase, the CSO of ASAP Roofing, highly respected individual. He's spoken at conferences. He goes around and goes to other roofing companies, does consultations. Is there anything that you guys would like to get off of Chase while we've got the amazing opportunity to have him here?
So would you say, off of what you were last talking about, would you say that the struggle is what really makes the person at the beginning opposed to just the easy win?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you were to tell me, hey, we could go back in time and I could take away all the issues, struggles, opportunities, anything that went wrong, I could take all that away, I probably wouldn't do it. Because the truth is, you know, you can learn a lot from winning. That's great. But the lows in your life teach you more about yourself than anything else can. It's really hard to duplicate the amount of knowledge you can get when you're at your lowest, because that's whenever you figure out what you're really made of. And there's one thing about me that I strive for, and that is to figure out what I'm really made of, because that's something a lot of people don't know. They think that they're really, really good and really developed, but the truth is they haven't had any hard situations. And so if you take those hard situations away from me, I'm probably not the person I am today, because those have taught me a lot. And so I do think you do have to go through the struggle a little bit. You have to at least face some kind of adversity, because that's what teaches you what you're really made of. You can figure out if you have that grit that it takes, because whenever you face one situation and you overcome it, now you have the confidence that, you know what, I overcame that situation. So the next thing, I know I'm going to overcome that as well. And then the next thing, and then the next thing. And now you're not afraid to take chances, because you know if something goes wrong and shit hits the fan, you know how to overcome it because you've done it before. So now you have a track record of success. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So long story short, learn how to fail faster so you can win quicker.
Yeah, I think Mike Coday always says that, fail faster, you know, and I think that's true.
I think it's the greatest lesson we can ever get, especially in what we do, where our industry is basically, if you don't do it, you're going to starve. You're going to, not have any money coming in. So one thing I notice a lot over the last 23 years is that you get the guys that come in and they either get a real quick win and then they go through a period of struggling and don't understand how to deal with it. Or you get guys who just take a little bit more time to develop. And it's almost like, a lot of guys get to where they're just about ready to have that breakthrough and then they just quit. I don't understand that mindset. I mean, if you're putting all that work in and you're getting to the point where you're about to do it, it's hard for me to understand, but I guess I'm different in the head. I've never done that. But what do you use? Like when you go talk to guys, Chase, and you've got guys who are struggling, who are like, hey, I'm thinking about maybe leaving. This isn't my thing. I'm just not getting it done. What kind of encouragement do you give to the guys when you go and individually speak to them and really find out what's at the core of their desires and what they want to do?
Yeah, that happens a lot in this industry. Like you said, it really does. And it goes back to the whole patience thing. A lot of people kind of have the expectation that they're going to come in and just dominate right off the bat. But you can take somebody like Michael Jordan, for example. Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball player to ever play the game. I think everybody knows by now that, he didn't make his high school team. Michael Jordan, the greatest player to ever play, wasn't great at something that he's great at now in the beginning. Nobody's going to be great in the beginning. Like even people who were born naturally gifted. Like if you're 7 feet tall, chances are you're probably going to be a good basketball player, but you still have to practice because you're not going to be able to make a 3-point shot without practice. So people come in and they think they're going to be great at something right off the bat. And the truth is that's not the case. And so we kind of put expectations on ourselves that are unreasonable. Nobody expects somebody to come into this industry and just tear it up. We've all been around long enough to know that it takes time. But the people, they come in and they put expectations on themselves to succeed right away. And so they let themselves down because they think that they're not living up to what everybody else sees of them. And nobody else expects that of them except for themselves. It's a catch-22, And so the first thing you have to do is understand it's going to take time. And like you said, Chuck, most people quit when they're right on the brink. They've invested so much time into getting better, developing, building their pipeline, and then they quit and they're right there. It's that 80-20 rule, right? Like they're right there and they quit. And so for people like that, I think a good quote is it's something Bethany actually told me today. Bethany, my girlfriend, she told me this today. And it's a quote that says, every day matters because you exchanged a day what you do today matters because you exchanged a day in your life for it, right? And so whenever people just give up and they're right on the brink, it's really disheartening because people like us, we can see they're right there. They're right there. But it doesn't matter if we see it. What matters is if they see it. Because like I said, the red sky example, I can see that the sky is red, but you're not going to believe it unless you see it for yourself. And so we have to help them see it. And the best way to do that is to go back and look at how far they've already come. They may not see the results right away, but nobody sees the results right away. It's impossible. Nobody's going to come in and expect to dominate right away. Even the greatest, Michael Jordan, he took a while to get to the point where he is. And so once you just kind of remind them that we don't expect them to be tearing it up right away. It's only them that put that expectation on themselves. Once you kind of give them that perspective, usually they come back around. Some people are just going to be dead set on giving up, and that's unfortunate. But we don't want them anyways, right? We want the people who have the grit. And so once you kind of remind them of that and how far they've come, usually they can come around.
Absolutely. And there's nobody more encouraging than Chase. I mean, you put things into perspective in a way that other people can't. That's why I was very grateful that you were willing to come on Keepin It Rio tonight and be our first interview type guest, because like Chuck Taylor just says, you're spitting fire. Let's look at a couple comments here. We got Alan Roberts has some kids for rent. If anybody would like to rent some kids. Melissa Money Mullins, hello. Joshua Shoop, once again, remember to smash the like button and the share button. If you'd like to see more content like this next week, type notify in the chat to get live updates for next week's episode. We're getting ready to start winding this thing down a little bit. I'm going to go back up to Shoop Dog. And Shoop, is there anything that you would like to ask Chase to end this up, or, just any kind of final thought that you might have for our Keepin It Rio episode 5?
No, just everybody keep an eye out for some more College Station stuff. We're about to go up to K Socialized Media tomorrow, smash out some new stuff. So we'll have a bunch of new videos, content, and maybe you'll even see some new faces along the way. So stay tuned next week, and we'll have some more wins, some more people, and more conversations.
That's always fun, and I'm extremely jealous. I'm in Ohio. Today was a great day here in Ohio, though. We finally got my mom out of the hospital after 29 days, so
yeah,
that's pretty cool. I'm feeling good about it, but I can't go home to be at K Socialized Media tomorrow like I would love to do. I don't know what you guys are going to do without me. I mean, honestly, the content that came out this week, I mean, I got to give a shout-out to Steven as well. I know Leanne gave a shout-out to Steven at the ASAP Live at 5. I want to do the same because our stuff that he put out this week was just incredible. The fake interviews, the jokes, all that stuff was great. I appreciate Steven. Eric Schugel, would you like to say anything before we call it a wrap?
Yeah,
I like your shirt, by the way.
Yeah, softball team.
Heck yeah. Who's on that team with you? Larry?
Yeah.
Yep. You guys are good.
It's his whole family and me. Anyways, we won it last year. I just want to thank Chase. That was awesome. Come to my office. I appreciate it. And I hope you come back again. Maybe we'll see Shoop tomorrow at the office. K-socialize. Do a little drive-by.
Absolutely.
So that's about it.
You got any
Give us a call.
You got any
903.
give
I
and
love
break
that.
stuff going on tonight? Any give and
No.
break? You got anything going? Breaks?
No.
You're not doing them anymore? Are you doing them still?
Yeah, we got it.
I'm promoting your deal. You're a sponsor of Keepin It Rio. Any give and break? So
big things will happen there soon. Big things will happen there soon.
All right, just keep feeding me those Buckeye cards and we'll be good.
1 second.
Uh-oh. Jeremy, what you got?
Yeah, thanks, Chase. I mean, I know my guys here look up to you. Hector looks up to you a lot. So what you're saying is really, really helpful for my team as well. I did see one thing one time, and it said, you don't do what the champion wants. You do what's good for the champion. And everything you said was just pretty spot on. I like Muhammad Ali a lot, and I watched this thing where he says that he hated training in every second of it, but he knew that he had to do it to become a champion. And that can go with anything, you know. You're going to hate doing the work, but if it's going to make you a champion, you know you got to do it, you got to do it. So kudos to you, Chase, man. Appreciate all the good words, and keep rocking, man. My guys look up to you, so don't let them down.
Look up to you. We all do, Chase. I appreciate that. Clint, I'm going to ask you for your words of wisdom. I know you always bring the heat just like Chase. It's awesome having both of you on Keepin It Rio. What would you like to end episode 5 with, my friend?
Episode 5. Well, you know, Chuck, I know why you're doing these. You're doing these to help people, to save them many years of sacrifice and hard work, to give them advice. And I respect that a lot. That's a big deal. I know myself and many of us on screen right now, we've sacrificed a lot, and we've spent a lot of years getting to where we've gotten to. And the advice, unfortunately, a lot of people don't take all the advice that someone gives them. But what Chase talked about is spot on. Realistically, most people only obtain about 0.03% per day of the memory order that they want to accomplish things, or things they remember that they want to move into the next day with. So if you do the math on that, realistically, if you were to just pick 3 things for the week and say, these 3 things is what I'm going to work on this week, moving into next week, and I'm going to focus on these 3 things, only 3, you're about 38% higher than the average ratio, just by doing something as simple as saying, there's 3 things I want to do with my life by the end of this week, or 3 things I want to work on. So to add to what Chase said, an easy way to start is just pick 3 things. And don't make them the biggest flaws, just 3 things that you'd like to see that creates your happiness, and work on those 3 things for the first week. And then after the first week, reassess yourself. Everyone's different, and see what worked for you and see what didn't work for you, and adjust. And every week, continue to pick 3 things. If you start getting good at that, you can pick more than 3, but just start out with 3. If you start out with 3, you're already 38% at a higher run rate than anyone else that doesn't understand that philosophy. So kudos to Chase to understanding and realizing what people think about every day. They typically forget the following day. That's very true. That's very real. It happens. And if you continue to just pick 3 every day and roll with it for a week, and push and push and push, by the end of the week, you just reflect. And then if those 3 are accomplished, or if you're still working on those 3, that's great. You still understand the 3. You're still ahead of the game. Just keep pushing. So good job, Chase, on what you talked about. Chuck, I really appreciate why you're doing this. And, you know, man, you're helping a lot of people out, and you'll be blessed. So I appreciate it.
I am blessed beyond belief. That's for sure. Thank you for that, Clint. That was awesome. One thing I do want to say real quick before I give Chase the final word is, when I started with ASAP, January of 2019, we started talking about Rio Blanco about a month or so in. And one meeting that I will always remember was I was in the most frightening position of my entire life. It was a Saturday, and I drove into the big ASAP office. There's nobody there except for Clint, Leanne, and JoJo. And I sat in that office, and I was scared out of my mind. And we started talking about what do you want? You know, and that's Clint. What do you want? Like, I've learned to ask everybody that exact question. What do you want? Just be that blunt. And my answers were, you know, I want to be rich. I want to do this and that. And it's like, well, how much money do you want in your bank account? You know, what kind of car do you drive? What kind of, you know, what color is it? And all this stuff. And we put a real crazy one out there. And I remember it was that I wanted to own a race car. And I just want to say that this week I donated to sponsor a race car for Rio Blanco Roofing. So that actually was the most ridiculous thing I'd ever said in my entire life. And it came true within 2.5 years. So Clint knows how to get the best out of people, and he knows how to make things happen. And I appreciate that so much, because sponsoring a race car, damn it, that's the coolest thing I've ever done. So with that, I want to give our special guest, Chase Wofford, CSO for ASAP Roofing, the final word. Chase, is there anything you'd like to say to end out episode 5 of Keeping It Rio?
Yeah, I mean, all the stuff we've talked about today, like, I don't come on here and say that I know everything. I know, Chuck, you don't come on here and say you know everything. And nobody on here comes out and says they know everything. But what we're talking about right now, we know this is true. It works. But the fact is, it doesn't matter how true it is or how much it works. It doesn't make any difference unless you apply it. Like, if you want to do us a favor, like, we're doing this for you. Like, Chuck made this thing for you. We're trying to help y'all. If y'all want to help us, all we ask is return the favor by doing the work. You know, apply what we talk about. We want to see people succeed. Every single person on this camera right now wants to see people succeed, because, like I said, it's not fun being at the top if you're by yourself. We want other people there with us. But we have an epidemic in this world of people waiting to take action. A lot of people like to use strategy as an excuse for non-action, but it's not. Strategy is great, but eventually you have to take action on it. There's an epidemic of people not taking action. They're waiting for people to notice them. They want to be noticed, but they don't want to put in any work to be noticed. The truth is, if you want to be noticed, you have to force people to notice you. Every single person on this camera did. We forced people to notice us. And now we are where we are. And there's nothing special about us. If we can do it, you can do it. All you have to do is take the action. Just do something. It doesn't have to be the right thing, but just do something. As long as you take an effort, take a shot. That's better than not taking a shot at all. So stop waiting for people to notice you and go out and force somebody to notice you today, tomorrow, the next day, the next week, the next month, and start being successful and start winning, because that's what we want to see.
Boom. That's fire. And ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say, I don't think the 48 minutes that we did, I don't know that we talked about roofing one time. And that's what I love about our group and our company. We're not even worried about that. That's the secondary deal. Ours is growth and development and just being better on a daily basis. And that's why I love this group. That's why I love being a part of this whole thing. And I just can't thank Chase and Clint and everybody that takes the time. I force the other guys to be here, but you know, the people that voluntarily show up, I appreciate it. We're going to try to do something cool with Keeping It Rio. And, you know, you're right. I'm doing it a little bit for me because it's fun. But I want to pass on some of the stuff that we've learned throughout our careers. And this is the perfect vehicle for us. So thank you guys all for being here. Thank everybody who's watched. I know we're going to get a ton of them this week because I advertised Chase from the get-go, and that's, you know, that's how you get ratings. So this is going to be our best one that we've had so far. I do want to say Keeping It Rio is now, since I've been in a hospital for 28 days or whatever with my mom, it's now available on like Spotify, Google, Amazon, TuneIn, iHeart. We're going to be on Apple Tunes this week, but like every podcast thing you could possibly imagine. I had nothing else to do, so I literally got us on all of them. So tell your friends, we're Keeping It Rio. Anybody that watches this, thank you, because you just took time and invested in us, which we appreciate. And I know that the fire that Chase brought is going to help someone that was watching. So thank you guys all. We appreciate it. We'll be back next week at 6 o'clock for Keeping It Rio, episode 6. Thank you, everybody, and enjoy the rest of the evening. And